This week we're talking about human geography in terms of population geography. And we're actually looking at chapter 3 over the course of 2 weeks. So this week we're looking at population geography, which is the first half of chapter 3. Next week we'll be looking at movement and migration, which is the second half of chapter 3. The key concepts in this chapter, or this part of the chapter, have to do with census, demographics, and population dynamics. In terms of demography, we're looking at the characteristics of a human population, and truly demography is the study of the characteristics of a population and focuses on the spatial distribution of patterns, the reasons for those patterns, and the implications of those patterns. Demographers also study how places are shaped by populations and how populations are therefore influenced by place. The vital records help to provide more information about a population, such as births, deaths, marriages, divorce, infectious disease, etc. The census itself has limited utility because it's only conducted every 10 years. Now in the United States, we have one also every 5 years, kind of to help make up for that lack of data that changes so quickly every 10 years. However, the demographics can change quickly, and many times the data is obsolete before it gets studied, and undertaking a census is also expensive and time-consuming. Many countries can't afford it or may not want to know what it would reveal in terms of population distribution and some of the implications that that could have socially, economically, and politically. Also, comparisons between countries can be hard due to differences in data, and no census is entirely comprehensive. Invariably, some households are missed, and homeless people are usually underrepresented. Environmental and physical factors that affect the distribution of people include accessibility, topography, soil fertility, climate, weather, availability of water, water quality, and natural resources that are available. It's really interesting when you look at a country or a world map to notice that the majority of populations are either located along seaboards or along rivers due to historical trade and migration patterns. Political and economic experiences in the past as a country developed can also influence population distribution. Cultural characteristics such as sacred sites and regions can also influence where people want to live or where they can live. We can examine distributions on many different scales that range from global to local. As you can see from this map, population distribution across the globe is uneven. China and India have the largest population densities. When we refer to population density, we're talking about a ratio where the number of people in a given area is compared to or divided by the total land in that same area. Population density is most often measured by the crude or arithmetic density. The reason it is crude is due to the fact that we're dividing the total number of people by the total land area, and that's not very descriptive. It's only one-dimensional from the standpoint that it does not provide deeper information about the relationship between the people and the land. Other types of density can be calculated in an attempt to learn more. For instance, nutritional density is the ratio between total population and the amount of land under cultivation in a specific area, while agricultural density is the ratio between the number of agriculturalists, the people who are working the land, and the farmable land in a specific area. These densities give us a better picture of the agricultural health of an area and the overall availability of food. As another example, we can look at other densities, for instance, healthcare density. We can get a better picture of the composition of a population. So for instance, this map shows the number of physicians per 100,000 people. Most core countries have a higher ratio of physicians to population, while most periphery countries have fewer physicians given their population size. This can be just one of many indicators of the disparity or inequality between the core and the periphery, as the availability of healthcare plays a large role in the demographics of the country or an area. Geodemographic analysis refers to assessing the location and composition of a specific population. Oftentimes, we look at age-sex pyramids to help demographers represent the composition of a population in a graphic form so that it's easier to see changes in the age and sex composition of a population. Males are placed on the left, as in this one in the green, and females on the right in the red. Age categories are arranged with the youngest at the bottom and the oldest at the top. A cohort refers to a group of individuals who share a common temporal demographic experience, so temporal meaning time. In this case, the age-sex pyramid of Germany clearly shows the cohorts that resulted from World War I and World War II. In general, the populations in peripheral countries experience higher birth rates than core countries. This results in a true pyramid shape as shown on the left, where the percent of the population who are dependents or under age 14 is growing quickly. This can cause issues for a country that is challenged economically and where resources for schooling, nutrition, and health are already stretched thin. Another problem is how these children will eventually support themselves when they reach working age. Conversely, the pyramid on the right does not actually look like a pyramid at all. This shape that looks more like a rectangle indicates a country with relatively slow population growth and low birth rates due to high levels of production, wealth, access to healthcare, education, and nutrition. Please explore the link in this week's content to population periods of the world and compare a variety of countries, as well as be sure to look at the pyramid for the United States.